President Zelenskyy of Ukraine forcefully rebuking Donald Trump and Donald Trump's plan with Vladimir Putin for Zelenskyy to turn over essentially 25% of the Donetsk region in Ukraine and tons of other territory that's currently under Ukraine's control. Donald Trump announced that he's going to have this meeting with Vladimir Putin in Alaska. It's going to take place next Friday, which is a big victory for Putin to go on American soil. Putin already said his preconditions that Ukraine would have to surrender all of this land. That's heavily fortified land that Russia has not been able to take over. Trump seemed to accede and to kind of agree to what Putin was saying. But then Zelenskyy said, I'm speaking with our European allies. We ain't listening to you. This ain't going to be a bilateral meeting, Donald, between you and Vladimir Putin, focusing on the future of Ukraine without Ukraine. No decisions get made about Ukraine without Ukraine having a say in it. And this is a powerful move by President Zelenskyy to stand up to it. So Zelenskyy meets with his European allies. He meets with France and the UK. He meets with Germany, also meeting with other European nations as well. And here's how the Wall Street Journal is reporting it as well. Basically, a complete rejection of Donald Trump's plan. And here's what we know right now. Zelenskyy saying, you want to do this? I want a ceasefire first. Then we can talk about reciprocal territorial exchanges. We're not just going to give up our land. What are we getting from Russia? We want Crimea. We want to get our land back. What are you talking about? We're not just going to give up our land. An ironclad security guarantee for Ukraine, including potential NATO membership as well. European officials and Zelenskyy presented their plan to J.D. Vance and Secretary Rubio yesterday, along with Keith Kellogg and Steve Witkoff. They said, here's what our plan is with Ukraine. You ain't cutting us out, Donald. And they called Putin and Trump's plan much worse than anything that had been introduced before, and much worse than Donald Trump has tried to characterize it at. Under no terms would Zelenskyy and Ukraine and Europe ever be okay with this, which is essentially a complete victory for Vladimir Putin in its current form. Just go through this a little bit more. So Donald Trump on Friday posts the following. The highly anticipated meeting between myself and the President of the United States of America and President Vladimir Putin of Russia will take place next Friday, August 15, 2025, in the great state of Alaska. Further details to follow. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So I'm like, well, what are you talking about there? And then Donald Trump called up our European allies, who almost are former at this point, the way Trump treats them. And Trump says, you can show up. And Zelenskyy, you ain't going to be there. It's going to be the United States, and it's going to be Russia. It's going to be Trump and Putin. We decide the future. We're making the decisions. Who gets what land? And Zelensky's like, F you. And Europe's like, F you. We don't agree to that. Who the hell do you think you are? When we learned about what it was that Trump and Putin were discussing, Ukraine would have to give up 25% of Donetsk that Russia has thus far failed to capture in exchange for a promise of no future aggression. Moscow would gain territory and the lifting of sanctions in exchange for a ceasefire. As Jane Keefe puts it, Trump wants Ukraine to award Russia new territories that they haven't yet approached in exchange for merely opening negotiation. Is Trump just an effing idiot or just eager for more Russian cash? It's one of these or both. Marco Mileskin says, the upcoming meeting in Alaska is not an attempt to resolve the war, but it may lead to a complete collapse in how international law currently defines the nature of an aggressor. If an aggressor succeeds in having a forceful change of borders recognized, international law will no longer be worth a red cent. It would be replaced by the principle of might trumps right, I guess pun intended. This would make the security of Ukraine, Taiwan, the Philippines, the Baltic states, Finland, Poland, Romania, Moldova, Bulgaria, and many others much more fragile. NATO, and thereby the United States, might find themselves in a direct military confrontation with an emboldened aggressor. This is why Europe is standing up side by side with Zelenskyy. President Zelenskyy made the following video, let me show it to you, where he says, Ukraine is ready for a real decision that can bring peace. Any decisions that are against us, any decisions that are without Ukraine, are at the same time decisions against peace. You see him rebuking Trump and Trump's plan here? They will not achieve anything. These are stillborn decisions. They are unworkable decisions, and we all need real and genuine peace. Peace that people will respect. Zelenskyy goes on to say, Trump announced preparations for this meeting with Putin in Alaska, very far away from this war, which is raging on our land against our people, and which anyway can't be ended without us, without Ukraine. Putin did not believe in our people and therefore made the hopeless decision to try to take Ukraine. This was his main mistake, not taking Ukrainians into account. I believe in our people. Ukrainians are strong. Ukrainians defend what's theirs. Many in the world have sided with Ukraine during the war. Even those who are with Russia knows that Russia is doing evil. Of course, we will not reward Russia for what it has perpetrated. The Ukrainian people deserve peace, but all partners must understand what a dignified peace is. This war must be brought to an end, and Russia must end it. Russia started it and is just dragging it out, ignoring all deadlines, and that is the problem, not something else. The answer to the Ukrainian territorial question is the Constitution of Ukraine. No one will deviate from this, and no one will be able to. Ukrainians will not gift their land to the occupier. We are ready to work together with Trump, together with all our partners, for a real and most importantly, lasting peace. A peace that will not collapse because of Moscow's desire. I thank all of our people for being together. I thank all of our soldiers for preserving our independence. Stand firm. This is our land. We are Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine. And here's the video that Zelenskyy put out. Here, play this clip.
Dear Ukrainians, both men and women, President Trump has announced that he is preparing to meet with Putin in Alaska, which is very far from this war that is raging on our land against our people, and which, in any case, cannot be ended without us. Without Ukraine. Putin did not believe in our people, which is why he made his hopeless decision to try to take Ukraine. That was his main mistake, not taking Ukrainians into account. I believe in our people because Ukrainians are strong. Ukrainians defend what is theirs. Many people around the world have taken Ukraine's side during this war. Even those who are with Russia know that it is doing evil. Of course, we will not reward Russia for what it has done. The Ukrainian people deserve peace, but all partners must understand what a just peace means. This war needs to end, and it is Russia that must end it. Russia started this war and is dragging it out, ignoring all deadlines. And that is the problem, not anything else. The answer to the Ukrainian territorial question is already in the Constitution of Ukraine. No one will or can back down from this. Ukrainians will not give their land to the occupier. Ukraine is ready for real solutions that can bring peace. Any decisions made against us, any decisions made without Ukraine are, at the same time, decisions against peace. They will achieve nothing. These are dead decisions. They will never work. But what we all need is a real, living peace that people will respect. We are ready, together with President Trump and all our partners, to work for a real and, most importantly, lasting peace. A peace that won't fall apart because of Moscow's wishes. I thank all our people for standing together. Ukraine exists. Thank you to all our soldiers for preserving our independence. Stand strong. This is our land. We are Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine.
All right, so then Zelenskyy works the phones. He starts speaking to Europe. He starts speaking to all the countries, all of his other allies, seeing what Donald Trump is trying to do. And then Zelenskyy, after speaking to all of his allies, says the following: "There must be a just end to the war, and it is Russia that must end the war it started. Ukraine and all partners share the same understanding of the need for a ceasefire, for an end to the killings. There is only one actor opposing this, Putin. His only card is the ability to kill, and he is trying to sell the cessation of killings at the highest possible price. It is important that this does not mislead anybody." He goes on to talk about how results are needed at the leaders level, dignified results, results that will save lives that the world will value, and for which it will be grateful to the leader who delivers them. In Trump, everyone clearly sees Putin's tactics other than you, Trump. He fears sanctions and is doing everything to bail on them. He wants to exchange a pause in the war and the killings for the legalization of the occupation of our land. He wants to get territorial spoils for the second time. We will not allow the second attempt to partition Ukraine. Knowing Russia, where there is a second, there will be a third. That is why we stand firm on a clear Ukrainian position. We must end the war with a dignified peace based on a clear and reliable security architecture. Our partners are ready to help us with this. We have just had a report from our team in the UK, from Andrei Yermak. There were talks among the security representatives of the US and Europe, Ukraine, the US, Vance, the UK, France, Germany, Italy, Finland, Poland. The meeting was constructive. I told you the counter-proposal that was issued. That's what I shared at the beginning of this video. The path to peace for Ukraine must be determined together with Ukraine. This is fundamental. It is important that joint approaches and a shared vision work toward genuine peace, a consolidated position, ceasefire, end of occupation, end of war. And then here's the video that just posted recently. Here, play this clip.
Wishing you good health, dear Ukrainians, men and women alike. Today was a busy day for diplomacy, and from early morning, coordination with our partners. The UK, France, Finland, Estonia, Denmark, Spain. Thank you all for your clear support. First, there must be an honest end to the war, and it depends on Russia. It is Russia that must end the war it started. Second, Ukraine and all our partners equally recognize the need for a ceasefire, for an end to the killing. There is only one party standing in the way of this. That is Putin. His only card to play is the ability to kill, and he is trying to sell the halt to deaths at the highest possible price. It's important that no one is fooled by this. What we need is not just a pause in the killings, but a real lasting peace.
Powerful words by him. French President Emmanuel Macron made this public statement: "I have just spoken again with President Zelenskyy, as well as Chancellor Merz and Prime Minister Starmer. We remain determined to support Ukraine, working in a spirit of unity and building on the work undertaken within the framework of the Coalition of the Willing." Coalition of the Willing, the European coalition. Ukraine's future cannot be decided without the Ukrainians, who have been fighting for their freedom and security for over 3 years now. Europeans will also necessarily be part of this solution, as their own security is at stake. I will continue to coordinate closely with Zelenskyy and our European partners. I think very well said. And then Zelenskyy continues to post about his constructive conversations with all the European leaders, that he's been working the phones the entire day. To contrast what Zelenskyy just said to what Trump said on Friday, when Donald Trump was asked if Zelenskyy will have to give up territory, Donald Trump says, "So we are looking at that, but we are actually looking to get some back. We will get some back." You on Team Russia? We will get some back? We're going to get some back? You're kind of revealing your cards there. This is Donald Trump basically saying he's on the side of Russia. We're going to get the land. What the hell are you talking about, you traitor? Here, play this clip.
Now, President Zelenskyy has to get all of his everything he needs, because he's going to have to get ready to sign something, and I think he is working hard to get that done.
Will Zelenskyy have to give up territory, Mr. President?
Well, you're looking at territory that's been fought over for 3.5 years with, a lot of Russians have died, a lot of Ukrainians have died. So we're looking at that, but we're actually looking to get some back and some swapping. It's complicated. It's actually nothing easy. It's very complicated, but we're going to get some back. We're going to get some switched. There'll be some swapping of territories to the betterment of both. And but we'll be talking about that either later or tomorrow or whatever.
And then finally, just to remind you, Donald Trump promised that he'd be able to easily bring peace to Ukraine in 24 hours, but now he goes around and says that was just a joke when he said that. He was being sarcastic. LOL, JK, he's a stand-up comedian. He doesn't really mean that he would bring peace to Gaza and peace to Ukraine. That's just sarcasm. How could you not realize, everybody, that it was just Trump doing jokes? Stand-up comedian over here. How freaking pathetic. Here, play this clip.
I'm not understating the complexity of all this, but as a candidate, you said you would have this war settled in 24 hours.
Well, I was being a little bit sarcastic when I said that. I would. What I really mean is I'd like to get it settled, and I think I'll be successful.
What's the plan if Putin doesn't agree to a ceasefire?
Bad news for this world because so many people are dying. But I think he's going to agree. I really do. I think I know him pretty well, and I think he's going to agree.
There you have it. I'm so proud that Zelensky's standing up. I'm so proud that Europe is standing up. I'm so ashamed right now at what the United States is doing under Donald Trump. Shameful, shameful, shameful. There will hopefully be better days ahead, but what a humiliation for the United States being led by Donald Trump right now.